G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. Today I'm in a different part of the garden. I'm working on a approach grafting this shimpaku stock that I want to do onto this juniper squamata stock. Now let me show you the size of the tree. I'll try and back up. It's a huge tree with two massive live veins. You can see those two live veins, but huge amount of deadwood and interest, right? So last couple of years ago I did do a couple of approach grafts. There's one there, seems to be working well. I've still got a little bit of tape on it, but that's pretty solid. And there's actually one at the back which I will try and get to, but this one is pushing out this nice foliage here, and there's another one in the back doing this branch here. And I'm not going to be able to get to it, I think. It'll be a bit too hard. There's one in there anyway. So there's two that worked really well. Now there's about three that didn't work. So I'm trying to do it again because I need more branching on this tree. Now I'll try and back up and show you the size of it without the sun interfering too much. Now I'll just move these guys out of the way as well. So now you can probably just see the base. It's huge tree that needs, so I've started slowly. There's two branches that are actually working really well. Then there's this big tall bit here that leads up to the height of the rest of the squamata foliage. That's where I want to try and get some ELAs in, approach grafts in there. Going to be a bit awkward, and I want to do another approach graft in there on the bottom, somewhere around down here on the bottom part of that live vein, just to give me to fill it out a bit more. So yes, it's a bit tricky. So what I've got these nice young pieces of stock here. Oops, hopefully they don't fall over. Oopsie, it's hard doing one hand with this. I've got nice long whips of foliage. Now I'm going to prepare these to be then approach graft to this bigger stock. Now we'll try and video it. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but we'll do my best in what I do. Now I'm not the best at this, but I've had luck with two, and now I'm going to try another three on this tree, and I think that will have 5 branches then, and let them grow and thicken out, and then I'll slowly start reducing a lot of the foliage on this tree. But this is a awesome big juniper that really needs, once it has the shimpaku foliage, this is just kishu foliage, which is good enough, especially on such a massive tree. You probably don't need itogawa on this big tree. Itogawa looks great on small trees, but on this massive juniper, I think these will work really well. So off I go and prepare some of this material. So there's actually a lot of preparation work to do that's needed to do approach grafting. So firstly, you got to have the material ready that you're going to graft on. So these are the bits that I'm going to stick onto the big tree. Now I've taken all my information from Bjorn's Bonsai Empire videos that he's got on there. They're intermediate classes, I believe. So I learnt this from Bjorn, and it seems to work really well. So I will try and show you what I do. But if you want to see the expert do it, he's on there. But it is what it is for now, and I'm going to try and prep these young shimpaku. So let's have a look at maybe this one. This one's a bit easier. So the most important part is this nice healthy tip growth, because I want to be able to graft about that point in the tree, about here onwards. So pretty much you want all the strength in here, because then the tree will shoot. So you really don't need much down below. So got a wire here. Let me get rid of that. So I'll really just try and prep the material by removing a lot of the foliage. Now, you see I've cut off a fair bit. Now, one little thing is these shimpaku I find are the easiest things to strike from cuttings. I just put this straight in. I just clear a little bit more bark off the bottom. That's all I do. I just stick them in some soil in a very shady spot. The key is a very shady spot. Pretty much hardly any sun. Okay, nice and shady, and we'll just, for some reason I check it back in 6 months, and then I really don't even look at it for a year, and I come back and there's roots on them. And I've done actual ones that are even bigger than that. So prepping this guy. Now I've got this little short stub here. Now I'm just going to keep this little one here just for having some sort of growth down the bottom. But it's not the strongest, but at least it's there in case it needs it. And then I clean up a lot of this that I don't need. Normally on these whips, what do I normally do, guys? You've seen me, I twist and bend them into place, but these guys, I need them for the larger tree, the shimpaku that I'm going to do. So that's about where I want to be, probably these ones off as well. So that leaves nice clear bit of trunk there, right? So I haven't prepped this part yet, I'll have to do it later, but I just want to show you how I prep this. So all the growth's here, all nice and strong. Probably can reduce it a bit more, but I'm going to leave it there. Nice and strong growth. Now I just keep doing that for all of them. This has got 2 whips. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to use it. It's got 2 strong bits of growth. I might pick another tree. I might have a look in there, might stock it for another tree. And then this guy's pretty easy. Same thing. It's got a nice long whip, and it's got these smaller ones. I might just leave one and I'll remove the rest. Remove here. I get lots of cuttings out of this, guys. At least that's one thing. These really small ones I don't, but anything that's half a decent size I will. I find the actual stronger the material they cut off, the better chance of survival of the cutting. A little bit more. Oh, okay, so all the energy is in that tip. Nice couple of tips actually. So I'll probably be able to approach graft around somewhere around here on the tree. I had to actually end up using that material, but I've just reduced the smaller trunk and I'm going to just use that strong part. Okay, so just reduced like before. Now I've got 3 nice strong whips. Now I need to find spots on the trunk that I want to actually put the approach graft on. So let's go have a look at the trunk. Alright, so let's see how I go with this. So I've got one here I really like, one up here I really like. I will look at that in a minute, but I want one, I reckon, in about under here somewhere. So I want to try, so I'm just drawing a spot where I'm going to try and drill out or hollow out a little bit of the trunk so I know where I'm going to put it. So I want to put it in here. So when it grows, hopefully I can put it in the back or something like that. I don't want to go that way on the tree. I want almost all the foliage to sit on this side. I want to emphasize the deadwood on this side. So I'm going to try and build the tree in around here. So I've already got 2 nice branches. Another one in here just to fill in this area would be really nice. So one in there. Now in the apex it's going to be a little tricky because I need to find a spot for it. Hopefully, can you see that? I've got to adjust the camera, hang on. Okay, here we go. So there's nice live veins on this side. So I probably want it to go up, have something go upwards. So I probably have to get it in here somewhere. I reckon one along here. So I just draw with chalk at the moment. And just trying to think if I need one lower down rather than up. So that's probably the highest, and I probably want to do one in around a bit lower. I'm going to try and put it a bit lower, I think. So just drawing where I'm going to put them. Now we come to the next phase of this project. I've got my whips, obviously I'm just going to do one at a time. Now I'm going to do one at a time, placing it on the tree as well, because I'm going to be making cuts into the stock as well as cuts into the parent plant. So by doing things one at a time, you're reducing the time the wound is exposed to the air. So that's how I think of it. So I'm going to make some incisions here and on the parent plant, and then put the tree on, put the stock onto the parent plant. I won't go cut all 3 and then cut all 3 and then slowly do them. I'll do this one and I'll put it on the plant, then do the next one, put it on the plant, then do the next one, put it on the plant. So we'll go through the first process. Now, the way I see this is sharp knife, find where you're going to place the stock. Now, I'm going to have to make a groove thick enough for this onto the parent plant. But what I need to also do is make sure I have incisions or cut away portions of this to be able to attach this to the plant. So here we go. I'll just get a nice big piece of wood. Now I'm going to be trying to place the underside here onto the stock. So I'm going to try and make an incision that's not an incision. I'm going to kind of shave away portion of it. So I probably want to have a bit of a leeway, and then probably from about here to here I'm going to try and make an incision. Now you can put it on against the wood. Hopefully you can't. It's going to be really hard to see this, but we'll try. I'm always going to make a angle cut. It's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, so cut away the cambium and some of the hardwood. It's a bit bumpy, unfortunately. I'm being very careful. I don't want to cut my hand. So I've made an incision pretty decent on that side. Now I'm pretty much going to do on the close to the other side. It's hard to explain, but so this is the bit that's going to stick into the thing. So I need to make almost like a triangular. It's almost like a triangular incision. So I just need to make sure it's clean. So now when I put this on the parent, it's almost going to... So when I'm going to put that on the parent, this side of the cambium and that side of the cambium are going to be tried to place against the cambium on the parent. So it's almost like I've got a bit of cambium on this side still. That's going to be exposed outwards, but this side's going to go inside. Okay, so that's how it's going to stick inside. Now I'm going to go head over to the parent. So what I'm planning to do first is put the graft on this where I made this chalk. Now I'm just using I just use a drill bit, but I use this attachment on it just to make a groove. Alright, so it kind of fits really nice now, nice and snug. Most of that's aligned. I've just got to line the cambiums to be a bit better. And now I just use some, temporarily I use a kind of bits of wire, or just some wire. I adjust it to make sure it's really nice and perfect. Put another wire just to do that same thing. Alright, so that's pretty secure. Now it's a matter of using grafting tape and putting grafting tape on there to tighten it up. Actually, first I need to secure this pot. So Usually what happens is I tie the pot to the tree and it will just rest there. So I'll do that now. So we've just created a little caddy that holds the wire with a bit of wire that's tight. So grab some grafting tape. Now to hold that all in place, I'll use some black electrical tape. So you can see now a nice little package there. I just make sure it's all nice and tight. If I'm not happy, I'll put another wire just over the top there, which I will do. Just something slightly bigger, just to give it a bit more protection. So now it's all pressed really tight. There's no moisture can get in. It should just be nice and secure. And this is the part that needs to grow. So we've got lots of nice foliage here. And then here. Okay, everyone, so that's one down and two more to go. But I won't have to go through that, but I'll show you the result. But having a little caddy here means I can water the tree. Anytime I water this tree, I just water it and it's going to get it. This is really secure. The cambiums line up. There's big enough groove that it's sitting in. So this just has to grow and thicken, and they just have to fuse together. So having the nice strong tips hopefully means that tree will grow nicely. This I might secure with one more wire just to make sure it doesn't wobble around too much. But it's not going to move from here because the wire is really secure, and a wire in here that's pushing the new bud in, or the new piece of the piece that we're trying to graft into there. So what I've done is actually completed 1, 2, 3. You can see them hanging on the tree. So you completed the first one that was down here. Now what I've done is I've put a bit of foliage from the other plant over the top of it just so I can protect that from direct sun. That's the only one that's kind of exposed to the sun a bit. Then I'll grab the camera and I'll bring it in. Let's have a look. So I've got one down here, which is this guy here, and one a bit higher, which is this guy here. So there's two in this area that I've put through. These are really good in terms of where they are because they're protected by all this foliage. Now this foliage will cop the direct sun and it'll keep that protected and not get too hot and fry the actual joint. So usually what happens is if it gets too hot, I think that usually overcooks the graft, and that's why I lose it occasionally. So maybe that's what I've done. So I've protected it with this foliage, protected this with this foliage. This one here, you can see just here, this branch here, and then this branch here are the two ones that have succeeded. So they're nicely positioned on this side of the tree. Now, these two branches here, this is the old foliage still here. So then this one is connected to this one, and this one is connected to this one. So what I've done is I've just reduced the amount of foliage on here because I want this branch to feed this more, to feed these guys more this year. before I remove these. Okay, so eventually these will be replaced by these branches. So you can see how it's getting more compact, and that's the beauty of approach grafting, or grafting onto this tree. So this is a monster juniper that once it's got shimpaku foliage, it will look pretty amazing. You see the base on it, the two live veins come up, so it should be really good, but it's a work in progress at the moment. Might even have a look at putting another one on somewhere, but I'm running out of space because there isn't much space on the live vein apart from down here, but this is going to be in the way. So yeah, I might leave it for now because I'm going to have 5 good strong branches hopefully, and that should be enough to build the whole tree with it, so because I don't need all that top. Alright guys, I hope that was clear. It was attempted trying to show you approach grafting. I'm not perfectionist at this, but I'll give it a go. I've had 2 that work, so that's good. So I followed a similar approach, and I know that these ones they were in the shade. They were more shaded, so because they were more shaded, I think they succeeded. Now I'm trying to give this shade and those shade, so hopefully these succeed as well. So we'll see how progress goes over the next year. Okay, see you for now. Bye.